Welcome to the SPASE Podcast. We have a special guest, and he is a legend in the sport of bodybuilding, known as the Black Prince, aka Mr. Lifestyle. He's 78 years young, yet with a body that even a 30-year-old top bodybuilder can wish for, and probably the fittest and the healthiest human on the planet that I've ever met. A little background on Robby. He did and won 300 amateur bodybuilding contests before going pro. He's Mr. America, Mr. World, Mr. Universe, Mr. International, Mr. Olympia tall class, Mr. Olympia heavyweight class. You got a Night of the Champions, couple of them, right? We got the first Masters Mr. Olympia, 94, and a total of 3 Masters Mr. Olympia. You got the 97 and the 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robby Robinson, welcome to the SPASE Podcast.
Awesome.
So,
sexy.
I love it. We were like, should we call this podcast Sexy or SPASE Podcast? We're still figuring it out.
Oh, yeah.
So a little bit of background, how I met Robby. I've been going to Gold's Gym, Venice, the Mecca, since 2007, which happened like 2 days after I moved to Los Angeles. And I've seen Robby many times just doing his thing. He is this person with incredible, classic, aesthetic, old school physique, V-taper, wide shoulders, small waist, full chest, peaked bicep, and it was intimidating for me to reach out to you. But finally, a couple of years ago, I decided to come over and say hi. And I said, Robby, I would love to get a training session with you. And you said, awesome. And that's how it all started. We got that first session, and then we got a few more. And since then, my body completely transformed. I changed the way I eat. I changed the way I train. I changed the way I think. And in a way, you are a mentor to me. And I truly respect what you do for everybody in the bodybuilding community, all the knowledge that you have and you share. I've read your book, My Life in Bodybuilding, Muscle versus Hustle, multiple times. I love the story, and I would love to share this story with the world because I think everybody needs to know about this incredible specimen of a human being, 78 years young, looking like 30. So, Robby, let's dive into your story. Mm-hmm. There are many bodybuilding legends from the golden era that have nicknames. Like if I say the Austrian Oak, we think of Arnold. If I say the Sardinian Warrior, we think of Franco Colombo. If I say Big Red, who's that?
Kenny Waller.
Kenny Waller. Mm-hmm. And then there's the one and only, the Black Prince, Mr. Robby Robinson. How did you get that nickname?
I think Joe Weider was the one that created it. He came in there and talked about, Robby Robinson, the Black Prince. And I think it was based on the way I carried myself and behaved and dressed and the way I talk and my whole attitude about training and my physique. I mean, Joe Weider took and used my physique as his own monument for his company. That tells you a lot. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but that's how it ended up. And I can respect the man for making that decision, but it caused me a lot of grief. Because it wasn't supposed to be my physique. That's abused the monument. It's supposed to have been 6-time, 7-time Mr. Olympia winner.
Absolutely.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And we'll dive into that.
Yeah.
We have that
for
story.
Him to do that, it was a big thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. 1975, you come to Los Angeles. You get invited by Joe Weider to train at the Mecca, do some photo shoots, compete, correct?
Exactly.
How did that happen? Like, what was your first impression of Los Angeles? You land in LA. What are you thinking?
You know, I grew up in the swamps of Florida, so I didn't really have any idea that someone of that notoriety and that famous and known all over the world himself, that was a magazine publisher, would even reply to the letter. So I sent him some pictures of myself, double bicep from the rear, double bicep from the front, side chest shot. And Richard Baldwin was the one that took the photographs of myself. Mm-hmm. And I put them all together, sent him this little package. I mean, not expecting to hear anything from him. Then I got this letter from Weider Publication. His name was on there. Joe Weider had signed it. I was ecstatic. He invited me to come out to Los Angeles, California in 1975 to train with the Weider boys. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow. I had an incredible job working at the Tallahassee Democrat. Mm-hmm. And I was like...
That was a magazine, right? You worked for? It was a magazine?
No, it was a newspaper.
A newspaper,
It was a newspaper. And I worked for this newspaper for like almost 7-8 years. And then all of a sudden, one thing that newspaper did was publish all my wins. They would write little articles. Robby Robinson won Mr. Southeast. You know, Robby Robinson placed 5th in the Mr. America. And so I was getting known pretty much all over Florida. And then I got the letter from Joe Weider, invited me to come to train with the Weider boys. As I say, I was ecstatic. Mm-hmm. My whole world changed. I left immediately to Los Angeles, California, 2 paychecks. Mm-hmm. And I think $7 in my pocket and 2 paychecks.
I love it.
And I got to California, found a way to get to Gold's Gym, got to Gold's Gym. I walked in. The first person I encountered was Eddie Giuliani. And Eddie Giuliani goes, I said, I'm coming here to train with the Weider boys. And I showed him the letter, and everybody started laughing. Another sucker. Uh-oh. That's what they say. Oh, you've been suckered too. Uh-oh. And I was like, oh, kid Duncan, what is this? What is he talking about? And he said, this guy does that to all the guys that have great physiques. And at this point, I had a one-way ticket and my 2 paychecks and the $7. So I'm thinking, oh man, have I gotten myself into trouble? Because see, in my culture, you can't go back home and say anybody's done anything, especially if you're going to bring up, well, the white person wouldn't let me do this. They would say, hey, you should have thought about that before you left.
Totally.
So I couldn't go back home. So I'm standing there and I'm thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Didn't have a place to stay, no apartment. And I was just kind of stayed around the gym. Ken Sprague's kind of let me sleep in the gym. And I was, from that point on, totally brain dead. Then I met a guy from Florida. His name was Mike Armstrong. He was a school teacher. Uh-huh. In that process, Mike let me stay at his place to help get me grounded so I feel a little bit more comfortable with myself. He lived right off the beach, probably walk out of his door right to Gold's Gym. Wow. So I had that little gift from the man upstairs. Uh-huh. And Mike. If it wasn't been for Mike, I probably would have been on the street.
Wow.
So I'm standing there and I'm thinking, Mike ate steak, Robby ate steak. Mike went out to eat, Robby went out to eat. If Mike went out someplace to do anything, Mike will always take me with me. He was a school teacher, good guy.
Yeah.
White, from Florida.
Uh-huh.
And he recognized the fact that he said, you've been set up, man. It's just, there's nothing you can do about it. You're not in a good place. You can just use my place. And I mean, that was a gift because I could relax. At least I had a stomping ground, a sleeping place to sleep.
Of course.
Had my own little bed to sleep right there by the door. And, Mike stepped in the other bedroom. And then for some unknown reason, Joe Weider asked me to come out to the office.
Yes.
So they let me go out to the office. I got to ride out to the Weider's office. I go into the office. I sit there. 1 hour go by, 2 hours. I sit there for like almost 3.5 hours waiting to see him. Uh-huh. And then finally I got a chance to see him. I went up to his office, invited him to his office.
Is this the first time you guys met?
Yeah.
Got it.
The first time we had met. I sit there in his office in his big chair, and he was sitting across in front of me, and he looked at me and he says, I don't give blacks contracts. I think I could have, psychologically just stopped inside of my head. And I'm saying, well, but you gave me this letter. He just kind of shrugged it off, got up and walked out the room and left me there. Annalise Light was his secretary. And she said, Mr. Robinson, you have to wait downstairs after that little short meeting. Uh-huh. And so I went down the stairs and waited for another 3.5 hours till it was closing. And then she came to the stairwell and said, Mr. Weider just left. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay. And then Denny Gable was the guy that had drove me out to the Weider office. That's how we became friends.
Got it, yes.
And he came and he said, let's go. We left and went on the way home. And he said, I'm sorry about that, Robby. He said, but, that happened to a lot of guys.
Yeah.
He said, that's just something you have to deal with,
So it was like
I was able to suck it up.
Yeah.
And deal with it. I got a call from Gene Mosé, who was the Weider photographer at this point. He said, Joe Weider want to do a cover shot of you. Mm-hmm. That changed my life.
Wow.
Right there. All of a sudden, I'm on the cover, flexing this incredible physique for them in a sense. And from that point on, I started getting exhibitions and seminars all over the world.
So it was like rude awakening. You come to LA, big dreams, one-way ticket, and all the dreams are about to come true. You're at the Mecca, you're in LA, but then you meet Joe, and then it was like almost like a peak, then a valley. Exactly. It was a letdown. Oh man, what did I get myself into? And then you get the photo shoot, and then you're on a peak again.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
The whole world knows about Robby.
All of a sudden I'm like getting calls from countries, Belgium and Germany and Latin America countries, Argentina, and they wanted me to fly to these trips, and I'm thinking I'm feeling like a superstar at this point.
Yes.
So all of a sudden I'm making $750 an hour. I mean $750 plus expenses, plus hotel accommodation, plus airfare flight, business class, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a change in my life.
And back then, $750 was
that's
good money.
In that time period, that's a lot of money.
Yes.
And I got booked for pretty much the whole year, $750. And then as I got more and more cover shots, more and more notoriety in the magazine, I went from $750, $800 to $1,000, $1,500, $2,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1975 is the year that pumping iron is about to take bodybuilding to the whole world audience. Mm-hmm. And Arnold is the star of pumping iron. But Robby is in the gym training. Yet they tell Robby, hey, Robby, don't flex. Don't flex, Robby. You might make Arnold look bad.
I flexed anyway.
You flex anyway.
It was just a time period. I just wasn't used to that. I'm have this position where I'm actually in a movie and I'm hearing people telling me, don't flex, just walk across the floor. I flexed anyway. It caused a lot of bad feelings and stuff to the whole movie. Mm-hmm. I said things like that maybe in a sense at that point, being black you're not supposed to say, but I said it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I thought, why not have a voice? I'm a part of this whole thing. I have to say something. I have to voice my own opinion. And they didn't like that.
Uh-oh. What can you say? I can't even see the guy. He's too little. I hear this voice, but I don't see nothing.
What do you say, Paul?
No river to settle beside all that.
Just like the South African Victorious.
Hey, and look at that, another mouse in the background.
Hey, what is that?
I got $100 on Paul Grant. Wait until South African Victoria and we'll all know who's the best.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say that Robby has to go first through you and Ken Waller to get to me?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, how can you make the fifth step of the ladder when you didn't make the first?
I'm already with you.
I think that Robby's gonna be the great black hope.
At the same time, when we went to the first film of the Pumping Iron was in San Jose, California.
Yes.
We had this competition, the Russ Warner Classic.
Yes.
Russ Warner Classic invited all the guys there to guest pose, at that competition. That was filmed by Pumping Iron. Mm-hmm. So everybody's on stage is screaming and hollering. Arnold was posing. He came, and I would think I was the last one, brought the house down.
People saw that.
Screaming and hollering and calling my name. I had never experienced anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
So you hear all these people that stand there, and I've seen 99% of them were white males and females that were screaming and hollering my name. There were very few persons of color in that audience.
Yes.
So to hear them calling screaming my name, that to me was like, wow, it was an awakening. You must have a cold-blooded physique because you can't see yourself in your mind sometimes.
Yes.
It's just someone else react to you. But having all these people react to me and clap and call my name and
Yeah.
cheer me on while I'm up there posing. I was ecstatic about it.
So that was like a validation that your body is the body.
Yeah, exactly.
It's being recognized.
Exactly. And
that's in the opening scenes
I
of
don't
the
like
Pumping
to get
Iron.
into that color and race thing, but it
Yes.
was huge.
Yes.
They were saying to me that, where did he get that body from? I have to say this. That nigga got a white boy's body. I said, awesome. That sucks. Because I didn't have any concept of all of what was going on and what kind of body I had. It was only recognized when I would when I went to the Weider's office and would be in the Weider's office in the art department. Basically, all his art people were women. Mm-hmm. And they would walk up to me and grab my hand and put their phone numbers in my hand and say, Robby, you got the better body. Your covers sell the best. And so I'm getting goosebumps here talking to you about it, chills, because of the fact that they inspired me. They gave me the belief, they helped me believe in myself. Yes. Really.
But Joe never told you, hey, Robby, you sell magazines.
No.
You were getting it from the ladies.
Those ladies that were in that office built my confidence. They gave me the ability to go back in that gym every day and kill it. And each time I went out there and would see them, wherever they are, even today, I think to myself, wherever they are in the world today, God bless them.
Yeah.
Because they definitely built my confidence. They gave me all the desire, pumped my desires and my mindset to just, you can get better and get better and get better. You just got to keep focusing on it. Don't pay attention to all that other negative stuff.
Yes.
Because I didn't. If I had it, I would not be here.
Man, sometimes that's all you need. Just one little push. You don't know where it's going to come from, but that one little push, somebody believing in you, and it's going to take you forward. That's all you need.
That's all you need. It's as we was talking earlier, it's who you have in your corner.
Yes.
It's the people that say the good things to you instead of
that's right.
Block all that negative stuff out. Listen to the good things that people say about you.
That's right.
And that's what I was able to do. Seriously.
That's awesome. So, Pumping Iron. I'm quoting from the book because I've read it a bunch of times. That contest you did in San Jose was included in the documentary. It opened up with that, actually, and you looked amazing. And I heard the cheers. And then I didn't see you much throughout the movie because I see a little outtake when they filmed it in Arnold's house. And everybody started to drink and have good time. The director of the movie said, well, guys, nobody's getting paid. And that didn't sit well with you.
They took me out of it. They tried to not involve me in it or not call my name to appear in it because of the fact that I was still in the scenes from him. I wasn't still in the, because people wanted to see my physique.
Yes.
Nothing wrong when he was such time as Olympia. So I said to myself, he deserved that right. Mm-hmm. I didn't try to block it or say anything. And it all came down in San Jose when we was after the competition was over and everybody was having a big party and everything. Mm-hmm. We was all in there dancing and I'm a black guy. You're not dancing with no white women. Mm-hmm. Nobody could even think that would even be possible. Mm-hmm. And then they was filming all of this, and then the process of Arnold comes in the room, down with the blacks. And he kept black in this and black. I started looking around. I'm the only black. I'm the only black in the room. So I just walked out, went to my hotel room, went to sleep.
Wow.
And I remember hearing Joe Weider say, Arnold, stop that. Stop that. And as he was saying it, I was already walking out of the room.
Wow.
But it didn't anger me. It empowered me. See, in my culture, if someone used those derogatory names, it breaks them down. It never broke me down. It made me stronger.
You turned it into something positive.
Positive, yeah.
Because you're huge on mindset. It's all about positive mindset.
If you let anything crack this, you're done.
Yes.
You got to be more powerful than anything that can happen to you.
And you made it productive.
Yeah.
You went to train harder.
Yeah, you have to you have to look at it that way and let yourself be consumed by what is positive instead of what is negative. I've never been able to do that. Even when I was playing football and sports and everything like that. Even when I went to the Army, and I definitely wanted to go AWOL or desert. Really. I didn't want to go to Vietnam and fight the war. Why am I going to fight people that I don't even know anything? They haven't done anything to me. That's what I was saying to myself. But then I just thought, suck it up.
Yeah.
And I got into the training and the hard work. Won Soldier of the Month 5 times. I mean, it's just turning things around.
Of course.
That's what I've always done, been able to turn it around. Whatever negative I confronted with, might get pissed off and get upset about it, but then eventually it's just something will come over me and just chill out.
Yeah. You get lemons, you make lemonade.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very important to take the good and the bad.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
life is not going to always be good to you.
Oh, no.
Yep, you have to take those bad moments.
Absolutely. So I got to be honest, one thing that actually got me into bodybuilding, I love bodybuilding. Like, I am a huge bodybuilding fan. It's like I've been following it for a long time, and I love all the stories and all the knowledge that I've got and all the friendships that I've created. One thing that got me into bodybuilding is pumping iron. Yet
Pumping iron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet I did not know that this was not a real movie. It was a docudrama. It was scripted. It was made for Arnold. And then as I started to dive deeper and learn about all the other people involved in the documentary, like you, like Serge Nubret, and few others, I've been fascinated by everybody involved in this movie. And I know that this movie is only 85 minutes long, but there is 100+ hours of footage. Like, I would love to see some footage of you training back then, even other people involved in the movie. But I know that Arnold bought all that footage, so it's somewhere stored.
Joe, let me talk to him.
You want to talk to Basikov? Okay.
Okay, fuck you.
But I would love to see everybody from the golden era shown how they looked and how they trained.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think that anybody else has a chance to beat you, like Robby Robinson, Beckles, and the others?
No, come on, Joe.
Because that would be
It was awesome.
amazing and
You know,
awesome.
that time that we spent in the gym preparing for that 90 days, there was a calendar on the wall, and each day you went in that gym, a day was removed. And you observed that, and you put all your time and energy into that diligently, right down to that peak week.
Yes.
And you worked and grinded yourself. You worked on those poses every day. People not believe it. Bodybuilding is stressful to the body.
Yes.
It also has a certain amount of destruction to the body. So eating healthy, I mean, having a positive frame of mind, taking supplementation, you have to use all of these things. That's what, everything is timing.
Absolutely.
Timing with supplementation, timing with the rest, timing with the food, timing with the training. So everything has to be on the time clock. And the better you get that whole system down on the time clock, the better results you get.
Yeah. And this, of course, makes me think of your blueprint, which is all of those elements. It's Robby's blueprint, which we're going to talk in a little bit. Let's stay in the golden era for another while. So there are a few interesting stories I want to touch on. Supplements, right? I remember the story of a fan writing to you, like you were in the magazines, right? Actually, as a matter of fact, I have the magazine right here.
Okay.
So this is Muscle Builder. This is Robby.
Yes, muscle builder, yeah.
1979, September. Remember this pose, the bust. We'll get to that as well. And there is a supplement promo. And it's Robby and Franco. Robby and Franco promoting Weider protein powder. And you get a letter from a fan saying, "Hey Robby, do you use that product?" And you wrote the fan back, "I actually don't." And somebody got pissed. Tell me about this story. What happened?
I just thought it was a normal thing. You got this 13-year-old fan.
Yes.
And the kid sends me a letter and asks me, "Mr. Robinson, do you use Weider supplements?" And I said, "No." And right after that, I got this notification that Robby Robinson has been suspended for 2 lifetimes plus 20 years.
Like 1 lifetime is not enough. 2.
2 lifetimes. 2 lifetimes plus 20 years.
Wow.
And my whole self fell apart because I'm thinking, you know, what have I done?
Yeah.
And then I found out that the kid had sent the letter back to the Weider office. Joe Weider had confronted and called Ben Weider, He was the president of the IFBB, and they had posted a letter in the magazine. Robby Robinson's been suspended from the IFBB for life.
For speaking the truth. For speaking the truth.
Yeah, for having.
I mean, I'm
They
quoting.
didn't go into detail and
Sure.
what had happened. They just say Robby Robinson's been suspended for 2 lifetimes for bad behavior.
Yes.
That's how they covered it up.
I mean, here's the thing. You're so ahead of your time, and you were speaking the truth. And because you speak the truth, they're calling you the bad boy, right?
That make me the bad guy.
Right? The bad guy. But today, everybody talks about steroids, right? And back then, we know it's a fact that all the superstar bodybuilders, they were all taking steroids. Yet, everybody's selling powders and supplements. But we all know, in order to compete and to look like that, Arnold to be Arnold, he needs to take the special supplements, which is steroids.
But nobody used it.
Yes.
Arnold didn't use it. Franco didn't use it. Nobody used the Weider supplement.
Yes.
I mean, it's 90% of it was sugar.
Yes.
So nobody really took it. If you used it, no disrespect to the company, to the business people.
Yes.
I mean, it's totally diuretic effect. I mean,
yes.
I'm talking about diarrhea effect along with that. Your body couldn't maintain it. It was sad that situation happened with me because I spoke out about it. But it was just a true fact. I never used the product.
Yeah. Well, you were about to disrupt the whole industry by speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And didn't like that.
No, they didn't like it because that turned the whole industry against his product. A lot of it from this point on went from here to Europe, and they're still pumping it. My image is still on the containers to this day.
Yeah, I believe it. Your image is everywhere. I mean, I trained with Vince Taylor last week in Florida. Crazy story, but anyways, he says hi. I have a great story that he told me about you. But on the door of the gym where we train, there's your bust.
Exactly.
It's still there. It's everywhere.
It's still there.
It's everywhere.
And every law firm, you might not believe it. When I went to the law firms here in Los Angeles to get a lawyer,
yes,
the guy told me point blank it cost you $50,000 to even start.
Wow.
They would not take the case.
Yeah.
And I went back several times, used some of my money.
Yeah.
They didn't want to have. One guy came to me and told me point blank, I didn't do enough work on it.
Yeah.
And he ended up losing his lawyer's license from stealing money from other people.
Wow.
So he stole my money plus their money.
Yeah.
But that's life. You put yourself in these situations, and that part really hit me because I thought the judicial system overall protect everybody.
Yes.
Color of your skin didn't matter. If you were able to go in and say, hey, listen, I need a lawyer to help me get myself through this, that would be available, but it wasn't available.
So that's another valley that you had to get out of.
Yeah, it's another down and back up again. But that's just life. I mean, it's sad that happened.
Yes.
But, that's just how it is. In that business, in that world, at that time, they could shut you off.
Yes.
To quiet you down. And you can do nothing about it. No law firm wanted to sue Joe Weider.
Yes.
Nobody.
No, you don't go against the power. So one thing that you're huge on is whole foods. And I'm 43 years young. And I finally learned that the more whole foods I eat, the better my body looks. And I finally stopped. I'm using less shakes, even though they're tasty. My body looks incredible because I'm eating 5 meals a day, clean food, good amounts of protein, good amounts of fats, good amounts of carbs. I'm burning it all. It's about the food. It's not about the sugary powders or whatever. But we're going to talk also about training, nutrition, what you recommend, of course, your training principles and your blueprint. Now, sticking to the supplementation, you came to LA fully natural. Your only supplement was real foods. And I know that famous story of you going to Gold's one day, and I don't know who it was that told you, wait, there's no way Robby is natural. And then they said, Robby, you need to take this. This is the story about Primobolan Depot. How was that first experience for you with that supplement?
The whole time we were training for that 90 days, Arnold was training for the Mr. Olympia, his 6th Mr. Olympia. I was training for the Mr. World in New York. And in that process, I was handling the same weight. What really hit me hard, I was handling the same weight they were handling without steroids. And it amazed me. I was thinking wow, I knew they were doing something, but nobody would tell me. Nobody told me anything about steroids. I didn't even know. You know, it might sound sad and I might sound a little bit dumb, but I had no clue. That's where I learned that mind. You can do anything you want if you make up your mind. If you're in the right field of energy with the right group of people, they were the right group of people.
Yes.
And so I used that energy from all the people that were there, and the mindset of that, you know, I can do whatever they can do.
Yes.
And then right at the very end of it, I'm thinking we got like 2 weeks out.
Uh-huh.
I remember the guys that were running the gym asked me, Robby, what you taking? And I said, what are you talking about? Because I say young, dumb, didn't have the knowledge, didn't think anything was going on behind my back, but it was. And they said, well, come back this afternoon. They didn't say what to come back to. They just said, come back this afternoon. I had that mindset, that's something that all the other guys were using, something because I'm looking at that physique being transformed to a whole nother level in that 90 days. Said, Robby, come back this afternoon. I came back probably about 3 or 4 o'clock. He said, you ever seen this? I said, what is that? Dumb and young. He said, well, this is Anabolic steroid Primobolan depot. And I thought, well, okay. And he showed it to me. He cracked the top of the lid off the bottle, took out that 1 cc. And I said, well, what do you do with it? And he said, you have to shoot it in your hip. And he said, turn around. So we went into the bathroom. I turned around. He hit me with it. And I was like, man. By the time I walked up to my house, second floor, knocked on the door, I collapsed.
Oh, wow.
But what I didn't know was the fact that I had sickle cell anemia. And that the steroids thickens the blood. So that all the blood corpuscles gotten thicker and they weren't able to get the oxygen to my brain and to my heart.
Wow.
And I collapsed right there. You know, thank God that Elaine, who was my lady at that point, was able to drag me in the house.
Oh, she was home.
She was home.
Wow.
Drug me in the house, was able to pull me up, sit me against the tub, and tumble me over into the bathtub and turn on cold water. Icy cold water, and shocked me.
Wow.
I was shaking and everything, and she was crying and worried, and Robby, what's wrong? And then she was holding me in her arms and rubbing me and talking to me and saying, Robby, what's wrong? And I told her, you know, I don't know. I was incoherent. I didn't know what to say to her because I didn't want to get her all worried about it. And then I calmed down. I guess the cold water was a shock to my whole nervous system, my whole body system.
Yes.
And in that process, I was revived.
It almost like reset you back to before.
Revived me, but I think I didn't eat anything or anything like that for maybe some hours, and then I kind of come back out of it, the whole thing. I'm 2 weeks out from the Mr. World now.
Yeah.
That one shot, I won the Mr. World competition, all the body parts, the most muscular man in the most muscular man out of a crisis, right?
Yeah.
And it was just amazing, that one shot.
Wow.
Transformed my whole mindset, my body. Yeah. And I thought, that's whatever that is some powerful stuff. So I started reading about the Anabolic because I didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. And then winning like that really brought the whole IFBB, the magazines to a whole nother level. They want me to do more covers, more articles about training. I was getting more and more work now. So I'm getting like 1,500 to do an exhibition or seminar pretty much all over the world at this point. So I was able to stabilize myself and make a good living out of it.
Yeah.
Start to save my little money, got me an apartment, got me a car. Of course, I could drive, but Elaine could. She drove the car. Mm-hmm. And I was able to sustain myself and take my whole body to a whole nother level. I mean, it was an incredible experience. I would say if a person is going to use anabolic steroids, get your blood work done.
Yeah.
Get that done first so you know that if you have any kind of health issues that you can be guarded or the doctor could bring it to your attention. But right after winning the Mr. World and all of this, Mr. Weider advised me and had me come to his doctor.
Was this Dr. Walczak?
Dr. Michael Walczak was the person that did the blood work on me and said, Robby, you have
sickle cell anemia. Yep.
And you won't be able to do it like that often.
Yeah.
The doses have to be kept very low if you're going to use it.
So it was almost like
for 8 weeks.
It was almost like a blessing in disguise because you discovered there's this underlying condition that you had.
Exactly.
And
Without
thanks
the
to
blood
that,
work,
now you know have
Exactly.
to be really careful.
Yep. I will tell all the young guys out there, you can use all those anabolic substances, but you better definitely get your blood work done.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what kind of ongoing health issues you might have before you start the cycles. And I mean, definitely what I found out over the years, less is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, get in shape.
Yes.
Really get in shape, lean, muscular shape. You can't be fat or overweight trying to do anabolic because it's going to destroy the whole system, the whole network of how the body works. So I totally believe in you getting in shape, get that body fat down. 10%, okay.
Yeah.
But you like 15, 20%, nah.
Yeah, there's no point.
No, it doesn't. It don't make sense.
You see, today's world, we live in a world of social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You got to look great all year round. Like, you got to be in shape all year round to look good on these social media platforms. But if you are doing all this stuff, taking all these anabolics year round, you're doing a huge damage on your body. Now, you are a perfect example of longevity, and you've been bodybuilding for so many decades, right?
Piece of history.
Right? And on top of it, you've only used it in a certain period of time, and then back to whole foods and training, sleep, nutrition, lots of water, but only for that window when you got a peak for the contest, and that's it. It wasn't like year round. Would you say that those low doses and only for that specific period of time kept your longevity up?
The body works better without stress.
Yes.
When you do take the anabolics, it definitely adds a certain amount of stress to your whole being.
Yeah.
So I always practice low doses, 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to get my body fat down to 10%, 9%. Now from that point on, if I'm going to work it down 6%, 6%, that's enough. I mean, the rest of it is just hard work, a little aerobics.
Yes.
I mean, definitely supplementation, your meals, everything is on a time clock. And that's what I found. It works better with that kind of a substances, anabolic substance. Everything on a time clock, the body just build muscle.
Yes.
And eating whole foods has been my key for 50, 60 years almost.
So back in mid-70s, you went to a doctor and you got your blood checked, and that's how you discovered what's happening inside. I'm also a personal trainer here in LA, and I tell all my clients, look, do your blood panel so I know what's inside, how I can help you. If I don't have a picture of what's happening inside you, how am I going to really help you?
Exactly.
I don't know what's going on. Let's check, see what's happening, and then we're going to address how we're going to proceed. And you were doing this since the 70s, and you've been doing the blood work ever since then.
Ever since.
And your blood panel, I'm assuming it's looking pretty good at 78.
Exactly. I mean, one of the biggest things I think that I've discovered out of this was Dr.
Rand. Yes.
Dr. Rand was one person that totally educated me about all of the nutrients and everything, and the intravenous feeding of all the vitamins.
Yes.
All the amino acids, all the glutamines and creatines and all that stuff being intravenous fed into the body to help build and keep the structure of the muscle cell and the body's strength up.
Yes.
So if it wasn't for Dr. Rand, I probably would have had a lot more sickle cell crisis because he helped keep my body in a point of just peak. I was always peaking.
Yes.
And people could say, well, Robby taking a study. No. Yeah. 8 weeks, but the rest of it came from intravenous feedings, nutrients, 5-6 meals a day, supplements on the clock with every meal. I mean, keeping my water. The best water you can drink when you're trying to really build a body is water.
Yeah, I love when you say the best steroid in the world is water.
Water. Because without the water, it's not possible to build muscle. You're not going to have the muscle size. You need to be able to have that body, be able to manipulate that body, especially that peak week. You know, you're not going to be able to just go in there and just win the show just because you're the most muscular person in the world. But you want to have all that water that's in the skin, under the skin, into the muscle cell.
Absolutely.
So on stage, under the lights, you're going to look harder and more dense. Posing shapes the body. If you're not posing, you're not going to look right up there.
Of course.
That's why a lot of guys up there, they're shaking.
Yeah.
because they haven't really worked and practiced those poses. The more you practice those 7 mandatory poses, the more beautiful art piece you're going to be able to display on stage under the lights.
So if we're going to endorse one anabolic steroid for everybody out there, regardless of their age, it's water.
Water.
So
It's
take your water.
If you don't get that water right, I have this system where I tell a client you drink water 30 minutes before your meal, 45 to 30 minutes after your meal. And what that does is just frees up the emptying of the colon, digestive tract. Everything is flushed out. It's better to drink the water a little warm. In the gym, maybe you need it a little bit cool.
Yeah.
Help the body flush itself and keep the temperature down in your overall body. But the first thing I drink in the water is 16 ounces of lemon juice and water.
Also a little bit of lemon.
Exactly. And
Robbie,
then,
whatever you're doing, it's working, man. It's working. Look at you.
I
love it.
Yeah, I have this system, what I call our 6-step program.
Yes.
And in that program, water is the key. I tell everybody, I mean, if you want that
Is water step 1? Is water step 1? Is it like the most important?
Water is the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the steroid. That's what get the body going to manipulate, flush everything out of the body. It keeps the digestive system clean and fresh. I mean, it definitely fluoresces and keep the skin, your body, overall internal organs hydrated. They slip and slide off of each thing better.
Yeah.
The body opens up better with that water and allowing that water to flush everything out. So when it's flushing everything out, the body gets leaner, harder, more muscular.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally want to touch up on your 6-step program, the so-called blueprint by Robby Robinson.
6-step blueprint, yeah.
Yes. I got a couple of more things from that golden era of bodybuilding. And one of them is the bust of Mr. Robby Robinson. So you see, I'm a big fan of bodybuilding, and I study, and I like to learn from like magazines from back in the day. Like this is 1979, Robby on the cover, September. That's the bust of Robby in flesh. November, there's a bust in bronze. Now, can you see any difference here? There's a different head. So we have September, November. What happened here? How come your bust has Joe Weider's head?
That's the major conflict. That was one of the things that created, I think, in a sense, everybody was aware of it, bad feeling between Arnold and myself. But I don't have any bad feeling about it because I wasn't totally aware of it. I found out as I was going along that it was supposed to have been his body that Weider used to create the monument for his company, not Robby's. But what Joe Weider did, he called me up and said, well, Robby, I want to make you the model of my company. And I thought, a wealthy $400 million man going to let a black man be the monument for his company.
Something's not right here.
That was my whole attitude about it because I'm thinking, you got to be some behind it. My lady friend Elaine was very pissed off because she thought, they're just using you. That's what she said to in the whole context of it. And I went out to the office for 7 days. They had the guy coming up with the scapula, the big mound of clay. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty interesting. I'm going to just play it out and see what happened. And in that process of it, the guy came in up with the scapula and all those lines and curves and shape and veins.
You were posing for hours.
I was posing for hours, just sit there and hold that pose.
Wow.
And he would tell me flex, I would be flexing and flexing all those muscles, and those muscles would be coming out, and he would just carve it in there with that little scapula all over the whole body. And then my head was on it, the Fu Manchu,
the fro,
the afro, everything was on that statue. And I was amazed. I had never seen anything like that. I was an art student. I grew up in art. So I seen the sculpturing and everything, but I was just shocked to see my own image, and it looked just like me. I was shocked. And I'm sitting there, and after he finished and everything, Joe Weider said, Robby, you can leave. So I'm assuming right after I left, he did the same thing. They just painted his head on my body.
Wow.
That's what was happening.
Wow.
And then when we went to the unveiling, myself and Elaine.
Where was this? In LA? Santa Monica?
Right here in LA at a big gathering. There was a big party. They were introducing it to all the people that had the Weider supplements coming from all over the world. It must have been 5,000 people.
Wow.
And we were sitting in the audience, myself and Elaine, and they rolled the big bus out on the stage, all the lights and everything. The news media was there. And I'm sitting there waiting for the unveiling, had a blue sheet over the whole thing. And I'm thinking, wow, isn't this incredible to myself? And then Joe Weider come on and said, this is the monument and blueprint of my company. Snatched the thing off.
Where's the fro? That's not your fro.
What happened to my head? What happened to my head? And my lady friend Elaine was cussing. That. She was going all the way off. And I was sitting there like,
wow.
Oh boy.
She was going to rip off his head.
They had to take her out of there because she just went all the way off.
Wow.
She was pissed.
Wow.
Because she knew that, that he had taken advantage of the situation.
Yes.
And then once they got back to the gym, Arnold stopped working out with me completely.
Wow.
We was all working together, myself, Arnold, Ed Corney, Danny Gable. It was the four of us. We were all training together. And from that point on, he just started training with just Ed Corney by himself.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much destroyed the relationship in a sense.
That was it.
Yeah. But I didn't feel bad I felt bad about the fact that I was used and taken advantage of, and it created bad feelings between myself and him.
Yeah.
And it's still going on to this day. And it's sad, but that's, in that world, I mean, you can do things like that when you got 400 million, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And
get away with it. And that's not, and as I say, I took it to court. No law firm won't even be bothered with it.
Yeah. You cannot win it. Again, to this day, we see it everywhere. It's everywhere. On posters. I saw it on a sweatshirt the other day. Whatever's related to the Olympia, it's your bust. And I feel I've heard this story many times, and I heard it from you. And I just want the world to know this story, the truth about the bust. The bust is yours. It's Mr. Robby Robinson.
I'm geared to go to Italy and do my work over there.
Yes, we will talk about that too. There's a seminar. Yes.
And Alfredo went to the IFBB people there in Italy. They want nothing to do with Robby Robinson.
Wow.
Because of the fact that I have spoken out about that whole situation.
Yeah.
They don't want to be bothered with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Of course.
It's their decision to not be a part of it. And I just left it alone. When Alfredo called me and said, Robby, the IFBB don't want to have anything to do with it. They won't support it. They won't talk about it. They won't put it in the magazine.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with it.
You know what's interesting? The same person that built the bust, the sculptor, his name is Ralph Crawford. He also built the monument for Arnold in Columbus, Ohio. And he actually builds all the statues and all the trophies for the Arnold Classic.
Yeah. Same thing.
So it's like...
It's the same person, right?
Yeah, same person.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
So just a little fact I did in my own research. And also the story, like I read the story. So the way they present it, they put their own narrative. It's like they can paint a picture and you cannot have anything to say about it because it's their magazine. And the way they said it in the magazine, they basically said... they didn't. The sculptor says this. He didn't say, "Oh, I was doing Robby for a week." He basically says, I'm going to read it. It's like a one sentence. What he says is, give me 1 second. Here's what he says. It's only one sentence. He says, "It so happened that the day Crawford was at the Muscle Builder office, Robby Robinson made an appearance too. And someone suggested, how about doing that one, pointing to Robby, in color?" So it's almost like somebody suggested to the sculptor, "Oh, what if you do a sculpture of Robby?" That's what it said in the magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of saying, actually, Joe reached out to me and asked me to pose for hours upon hours while Ralph is sculpting the bust. So They spin their own stories, and it's like you have to buy the magazine from 50 years ago to see what they wrote and how they push that narrative, that story. It's amazing. I mean, I love studying history. I love history, especially it has to do with bodybuilding. I love the bust story. I got one more story from your competitive years. So you get banned. Robby decides to go to Europe. He goes to the red light district in Amsterdam. How'd you end up in Amsterdam? Why did you pick Amsterdam?
Once I realized that I was being thrown and kicked out of bodybuilding, my mindset flipped over to a whole nother mindset that I didn't like. And then that mindset, I probably would have, if I had reacted to that mindset or what my mind was telling me to do, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be in prison someplace. So what I did, I listened to the mind that said, people say God, intervention, you hear voices. Well, I can say I heard a voice. And that voice said to me, go to Europe. I immediately went and got a ticket to Amsterdam, $750. I even remember how much the ticket was. I took K&M Airlines, a one-way ticket from Los Angeles, California, to Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam.
The same way you came to LA with a one-way ticket, now you took a one-way ticket to Amsterdam.
Yeah, I took that one-way ticket to Amsterdam. I ended up, didn't know where I was. I didn't know nobody there. So I'm getting into Amsterdam, I'm getting to Schiphol Airport, and then I just got on a train that says Zoetermeer. I got on the train to Zoetermeer. We were riding. I got my first class apartment. You can have the first class place, or you can sit like everybody else. So I got the first class apartment, sit back and waited. Got to Zoetermeer. I get off the train with my bag, suitcase, checked into a hotel right there in Zoetermeer. There was a cafe to eat, and I walked into the cafe and looked, and I saw all the healthy, they had all the, really you could just eat healthy food. Wow. And I thought, wow, this is what I want to do. So I got the hotel room, and I got me something to eat. And I remember walking out of the restaurant, and I remember going to my left, and I see all these beautiful women in the windows. They're all dressed up with negligees and
lingerie.
all kind of thing, naked, sitting on the stool, looking sexy and stuff. And I'm thinking, I've never seen anything. What the heck? And so I'm walking down the street into the red light district at this point, and I'm thinking, I never knew what a red light district was, but then I realized what was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing probably is long, I'm going to say at least a good half of a block.
Wow.
And beautiful women from all over the world. I was stunned. I was like, whoa, where are you? And so I'm walking down the thing into the red light district, and I'm passing the canals, all the boats in the canals where the Thai people had restaurants at this point, right? So I'm walking on down into the red light district, and I see all these beautiful women, and I see this lady come to the window, and she goes, and I said, me, because I'm looking around, me, and I okay, so I walked on down to the thing, came to the back door, she opened the door, and she said, come in. And I came in, and she said, take off your clothes. Let me see what you look like. I dropped my pants, took off my shirt, and stood there, and she says, I want you to walk me to the bank every day to deposit my money into the bank. From that point on, I was able to walk all those ladies that worked in the red light district, those that I was looking at in that windows, to their bank every single day.
Wow.
And during that time period, the lady that had asked me to come around and let me see what I looked like, because I was physical, so they could see that this big black guy got all these muscles. He'd be a guard to him. He'd be nice to us, walk us to the bank. And so she started introducing me to all the other ladies. And from that point on, they would give me 50 guilders, 100 guilders, 75 guilders, 50 guilders. And so I started saving all my money. And pretty soon I was able to get me an apartment. The lady, Maria, I would walk her, go pick her daughter from school every day. She would give me another extra 50 guilders. So I was able to get that started and make a little money to stabilize myself. I stayed in Europe after that point on for 12 years.
Wow, Robby,
I didn't come back here to, I think, like 89 or something like that, because I got invited back by Wayne DeMillier.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So you were definitely the best built security guard in all Amsterdam.
Exactly. Yep. That's what it was. I was the first person to do like security work for those ladies in Amsterdam. Quietly done.
Yep.
And Maria had a daughter, so I would go every day and pick her daughter up to school, take her home, come back, and walk all those ladies to the bank.
It's almost like you had this angel on one shoulder and the devil was giving you some bad advice, but you had the clarity and awareness to be like, you know what, let me check out this other voice, the voice that, or your spirit, whatever you want to call it, God, that said, Robby, go to Europe. You had that awareness and clarity of mind to take the other way, and look what happened.
You know, I could have easily gotten myself in trouble going out there and maybe reacting in a violent way or attacking those people that I thought that was hurting me, or trying to stop me from achieving my goals of being what I wanted to be.
But there's no point to go to that level. You just elevate it again.
Yeah, I totally believe that sometimes powerful things just intervene.
Absolutely.
Like some people, a plane that crashed, and some people live and some people don't. That's just how I look at life. Life can be an incredible thing, and sometimes it can be not as incredible as you want it to be.
But that's life.
That's life. You can't make it into it. You're not in control.
Yes.
You have to let what's going to be.
You have to let go, and at the same time, do the best you can do.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's life.
That's what I've always been. If you don't conquer yourself, yourself will conquer you.
Absolutely.
So I just refuse to let that happen to me. I've known a lot of people have gone through that and got themselves in a situation.
Yeah.
Who wants to end up in a bad situation where you're in prison for life?
Yeah.
That don't make sense to me.
Yes.
I mean, you have to think better of yourself, do a better job of conquering yourself, because that's where to conquer your own doubts, conquer yourself. Because if you conquer yourself, then you can conquer the world.
And that's the power of mindset.
Yeah, it's all mindset.
So you're in Amsterdam, and next thing you know, Wayne invites you back to the USA to do the first ever Masters Mr. Olympia. What happened?
No, I was at this point. I went from Holland because I now had a nice big piece of money. I had a really nice home in Zoetermeer. So I kind of started getting exhibitions and stuff from other organizations while I was there. See, that triggered me. So I got in really good shape, and I was able to.
Oh, you kept training and eating and all of that stuff.
Yeah. I never stopped. I kept doing the same thing that I had done my whole life.
I think you told me you were posing for Serge Nubret, right? He had his own organization, Serge Nubret.
Yep. See, all those things helped revive my whole bodybuilding mindset, even though I was just training and not really competing anymore. So I went to these different organizations, WBBA, or NABA. I won the Mr. Universe in the NABA division. All those things just kind of compiled it. If you stay with what you think is positive and believe in yourself, regardless of what the situation happens, positive things happen.
Absolutely. So Wayne invites you to do the Mr. Olympia Masters, and you are going against the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno.
I was in, at this point, Norway. I was in Norway. From that point, had an apartment in Norway. Now, as I say, got a little piece of money in my pocket in the bank, and I went to Norway and was working over there with the guy by the name of Houston. He was preparing for competitions and everything. And in that process of that, by this time there was Flex magazine. So he came to me and said, Robby, you need to contact Wayne DeMillier. They're having a Masters Mr. Olympia. And I said, okay. So I contacted Wayne. He said the Masters of Mr. Olympia is this date, time 1994. And we want you to come to Mr. I started training that day. I started training immediately that day, preparing myself for the competition. What my thought of it was, they need to sell tickets.
Yes.
The place was sold out. Everybody was hoping that Lou would win it, because that way Lou had a contract to do a movie. And in that process of getting ready to do that movie, he needed to win.
Yes.
And in the whole concept of it, he had signed the contract. Everything was done. When it came to Masters of Mr. Olympia, first, the Masters of Mr. Olympia 1994, the whole audience went, Lou, Robby Robinson. I went,
And the crowd went
that was not a
silent.
clap. Nobody said a word. It was silence.
Wow.
Joe, the people that had put Lou already on all the covers pretty much for the IFBB, Flex magazine all over the world. You're talking 101 countries had him on the cover.
So photo shoots were done. Magazines were like printed. They're ready to go out, waiting for Lou just to pick up the trophy. But he never picked up the trophy. You picked the trophy.
Yeah. They had already groomed him because he was, as I say, Arnold was coming out of the acting pretty much. Now Lou is the next one in line.
Yes.
That's what was supposed to happen. But Lou lost the competition. He canceled the contract. I think it pretty much messed him up permanently.
Yeah.
He was not the same after that.
Yeah.
And that's again, you have that up and down thing in
course.
life. He went from the Hulk to not being recognized pretty much after that. Him losing the Master Olympic cost him millions of dollars.
Because you're talking movies, covers, sponsorships.
Everything. And Joe Weider, because Lou lost, Wayne DeMille was kicked out as the president of the IFBB.
Wow.
If you notice, he's not there. Jim Mannion took over. Okay, because Jim Mannion was Wayne's right-hand guy.
Makes sense.
Okay? And in that process, Wayne became extinct. My win in the competition, the reason I won it by 1 point.
Wow.
Wayne gave me that 1 point.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I think where was it? I saw it was 300 for each one of you, and Wayne gave one. So it was 301.
See what happened? Wayne and the Ferrignos had got into it.
Oh wow.
So that was a big mess in that whole circumference of things.
Yes.
And Wayne gave me that 1 point.
Wow. Redemption. Talking about redemption.
Yep.
Coming full circle. And you told me this amazing story about the check. You got a check for $25,000. What else was on the check?
You know, that was a sad moment for me because I thought that in the process of all of that 25,000 is my thinking. I said, well, it's 25,000. Lou would get 10, I would get 5, and then Boyer Cole would get 3 to 4, and then 1,000 for maybe to the next couple of people. But I won the whole thing. When I got the $25,000 check, at first I looked at it and I thought, that's not my name to myself. And it said, Lou Ferrigno.
Oh my gosh.
So I walked over to Wayne after it all was done. Everybody was talking, and they had Joe in a corner. All the countries had Joe in a corner against the wall, screaming and hollering. There was no banquet that night because every time there was a competition.
Sure, there was no celebration. The banquet canceled
that night. And I went, I said, no banquet to this night. And in the process of all of that, it was a bad scene. That's what I remember the most.
But you basically just went to Wayne.
And the tears in my eyes right now about it because I thought it would be handled better than that, but it wasn't handled better than that because it caused a lot of pain for everybody.
Of course, yeah. So you ended up going to Wayne and just told him like, hey, Wayne, can you change the name?
You know, the check, that's what I'm talking about. You know, really, seriously. Tears in my eyes right now because when I looked at the check, it says Lou Ferrigno.
Wow.
So I walked over to Wayne. I said, Wayne, my name is not Lou Ferrigno. He said, what? I said, Lou's name is on this check. And he took the check and came back later to my room and gave me the check with Robby Robinson, $25,000 on it.
Wow. Amazing.
But that's,
story.
you know, he was supposed to win it.
Yeah.
I was supposed to come in second. I already had pictured that out. They needed to sell tickets.
Yes.
They know that I sell tickets. You know that I had this incredible, astonishing physique, but they were going to give it to Lou anyway.
Yes.
I already knew that. So I wasn't offended about it. I just had been doing it and going through that for so long. You just become...
Totally.
You know, you come...
I mean, that's how they sold the tickets. It was the Incredible Hulk versus the Black Prince.
Yeah.
And the Hulk...
Yep. People wanted to see incredible physique.
Yes.
So me coming there and dominating and winning the show. I mean, when we came out on stage, they kept Lou as far away from me as they could.
Wow.
That was the whole
Don't
thing.
compare.
And I observed it. And then right at the time we came pose down, I just came out of the lineup, boom.
Right next to
him. Boom.
Okay, so check this out. This was, I think, Lou at his biggest. He was over 300 pounds, and you were like, what, 210?
Probably 210.
210. So we're talking 100-pound difference, and you were almost as big as him because you were sculpted.
But you know what the downfall of the thing with Lou was? Too much color. He had too much. It washed out all the lines, all the muscularity.
Oh, wow.
And that's what they told me, see, because my skin is so dark,
Yes.
they wanted him to duplicate that. But he's white. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Because if you do it, it's going to wash all the lines out.
Wow.
And that's what he did. But then when they went backstage to try to clean them up, it was too late.
Yeah, they already messed up.
Yeah.
Fast forward to present day. As I said, Robby is this young, youthful, strong, 78 years. I'll say it again. Young.
Sexy.
And sexy. Exactly. Don't forget. Longevity. It's something that I am constantly learning and educating myself so I can give it to my clients.
Come on, hey.
Because that's the name of the game.
That's
It's
what
like,
it is.
what's the point if you don't have longevity? And you're doing it at the highest level. It's just, again, there's nobody else on the planet that looks like you at your age, not even 10 or 20 years younger. There's nobody. So that's why I went to you, because I wanted to learn from the masters, the experts. You're the one. And there are a few components. There is the mindset, there's the training, there's the nutrition, there's the sleep, there's the supplementation. And you call this the blueprint. Let's talk a little bit about the blueprint. I know there is also a documentary coming out with Generation Iron. It's you and Tim Taylor. It's your life story, and it's also the blueprint. It's coming out soon, and I know it's going to be amazing, because you're amazing, or should I say awesome. Tell me just a little bit more. Let's break it down. So tell me, like you said, number one in your blueprint is water. Why water? You told me it's like the most anabolic thing.
I've always thought that water, a lot of people say, well, I was holding water. Well, if you're holding water, it's automatically means you weren't drinking enough. A lot of people look at that physique and they say, well, I'm bloated. Well, you're bloated because you're not drinking enough water. If you're having pains in your stomach and your system and you don't feel as well, it's all because of water. It's the best steroid anabolic that you could ever take. You need that water to build muscle. That water is collecting in the skin and the organs. So you have to keep those organs nourished so they can slip and slide off each other better. Food can slide in and out of your stomach better. I mean, kidneys are triggered automatically. You drink a certain amount of water and the body flushes that water out. But, as you're doing all of these things, I could still say that water has been my number one anabolic steroid. I've learned how to manipulate my body. All the body water that's in the skin and under the skin, I can transfer that water into the muscle cells. So I look just like I'm on anabolic steroid.
Absolutely. You know what? When I discovered the water thing, it blew my mind, because I thought like too much water is just too much. And next thing you know, I'm drinking a gallon of water, which is 4 liters or 3.85, 8 pounds of water a day. I weigh only 150 pounds. And by the next day, I'm down to the same exact weight.
Exactly.
It's not like your body's going to retain it. So tomorrow I'm 158, then the day after I'm another 8 pounds. No, the body just flushes it and gets used to it. And 80% of muscle is what?
It's water.
It's water, so it needs the water.
Yeah, it has to keep the water in there to nourish the body and keep the body organs nourished. I mean, people say, well, I have kidney problem. Well, you got kidney problem because you're not drinking enough water. You're not consuming
You're not cleansing.
in adequate amounts
Yes.
throughout the day. Once the body gets regulated, all of a sudden your body becomes more muscular, toner, stronger. You have a better overall digestive reaction to your foods. Everything is in and out of your body. That's what your body should be doing, flushing it in and out consistently so that you can build muscle and burn fat.
Even the metabolism goes up.
Yeah, it lifts the whole body. It makes your body build muscle and burn fat.
I love
That's
it.
what water does. And if you're not getting enough, your body's not going to do that.
I love when you go like this. Mindset.
It's all mindset.
Positive
Practice.
state of mind. And I know you say weak mind, weak body.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. Why is mindset so important? I mean, look, you are where you are today. Huge part of it is your mindset. You cannot look like this and be like this and act like that, have this energy without that mindset. Tell me about your mindset, Robby.
I think, my whole concept of it, the mind is how you think. The more you think positive about something, the more positive things come into your life. If you start allowing negative things to slip into that mindset, then negative things come into your mind. Me, I just always try to think. It's very important what you say to yourself.
Robby, training. You are a huge advocate of proper mind-muscle connection and contraction. And whenever we trained, you kept saying body position, body position. You always were so strict on body position. I feel like that's one of the reasons, like you're the only person I know that's never been injured. Like you have 0 injuries, nothing torn. And I know like so many people, like even big champions, I mentioned one, Ronnie Coleman, but he was lifting so many heavy weights. And today I don't know if he can walk. So proper execution of the training. How important is this mind-muscle connection and the body position for you when training?
You can't just move weight. That's not going to build any muscle.
And by the way, moving weight is not bodybuilding. Moving weight is not bodybuilding. Moving weight is just moving weight.
It's moving weight. Yeah. You're not going to actually build any muscle. What I see today, the guys just moving weight. It's not really contracting that muscle. They're not focusing on involving themselves in the negative. It's body position, how you put your body in a position. One of the main reasons people get injured is because of the lack of body position. If you have their body off, the feet in one position and one is another way, you're going to have a problem.
So this, in a way, takes us from training to recovery. This is part of the recovery.
Exactly.
Like you have to, because training is about contraction and compression. You're compressing those joints. You have to release them. If you don't release them, you keep compressing to a point where injury happens.
Exactly.
So you have to release what's being compressed.
Exactly. You got to realize that those fibers are like that. It's hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go in there, you're going to try to, behind the next 300 pounds, those fibers are going to start going in a certain angle.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people get it. But see, I don't have mine. It's always like that.
Yeah.
So that way, I've never had an injury. That's why I've never had an injury. I do the same thing in my lower back. I lay it on the floor, put it right in the cup of my back, and roll on that ball all over that area. And what that does again, it loosens up the tissue and prepare the tissue for the heavy lifting.
Man.
Yeah.
Here's a interesting question for you. If you can pick one exercise for each body part, what would you pick? Let's go by body part. If you can pick only one.
If I was going to do shoulders, I seriously wanted to build incredible muscular shoulders.
Okay, shoulders.
Behind the neck press.
Behind
the neck press, and I would make sure that weight, I'm pressing the deltoid. But what people do is what I see is this.
Yes.
See, but you're not going to feel in the deltoids with
Got
that.
it.
Oh, that's going to be putting all that pressure right on that joint. Now, boom, and you go forward like that, it stretches all the whole shoulder girdle, all those muscles affected. If I was going to do a chest.
Now, before we go to chest, is that the shoulder press is dumbbell or barbell? Or doesn't matter?
Barbell or dumbbell. Boom.
Okay, either way. Okay. Chest.
That's what it's supposed to be doing. Boom. You're not supposed to just be pushing it. But you're just pushing it, the body is like this. It should be like that, see? Got that upper back arch.
Upper back arch. You always tell me, upper back arch.
Yeah, that's what
I love it. Give me one for chest.
Okay.
What's one exercise?
Chest, if I were going to do chest, it would be definitely dumbbell presses or barbell presses.
Awesome.
Definitely. That would be my
angle,
my two.
Flat, incline?
Both.
Both.
Preferably both. I would go back and forth between both.
Okay. Basically. Bicep. Give me one for bicep.
Bicep. Me, if I'm trying to really stretch my bicep, I would put my back against the wall, my knees out in front of me a little bit. That forces all the weight to be on the bicep. I wouldn't have my shoulders here. I'd have my shoulders there.
You always pull your shoulders back
on the bicep.
Always
pull the shoulders back because you're in the upper back arch position.
Got it.
All the pressure is kept on the bicep. If I bring my shoulder forward, the shoulders are going to carry the load too. See what I'm saying? That's what has happened. People don't realize that. But you got your body like this, then it's all bicep. Here, if you're not turning your wrists, you're not going to build in the bicep. You can't keep the wrists straight. You have to turn them. It's like you're going flexing, flexing. So all that stress is placed on the bicep.
Squeezing.
Squeezing. Hold it 1-2 seconds. And slowly lower it down. When I see people, you go forward. If you're going forward, stress is on the lower back.
Yeah. Tricep.
My choice would be to do close grip easy bar press. Because what that does, that affects the whole biceps, all 3 heads of the tricep. I would let the weight come down, elbows here instead of
we're talking on a flat bench, right?
A flat bench.
Okay, so you're hitting kind of 3 things. You have a little bit of chest, a little bit of front delt, and a lot of tricep.
That's right.
Awesome.
See, so in my thinking, right at the end, I lift it up. That way I'm hitting front delts, pecs, all 3 heads of the tricep.
Man, we should call this the Robby Special. 3 in 1.
Yeah, I'm like focused on everything.
Yeah.
I don't just kind of play.
Of
My
course.
next exercise would be, say, for tricep, rope extension.
Oh, you did those to me.
See,
my God.
What has happened here, the closer you keep your head, your elbows to the head, it's flexed all 3 heads of the tricep. You're pushing that rope like this, and again, you got that upper back arch.
Yep.
You let that weight go all the way down and press. You're keeping the elbows close to the head. And what I see, everybody got them sprayed. So you're not really, what you're working is this.
Yeah, you want your elbows to your ears.
Yeah, you have to keep it close to the side of your head. The more you're doing that, that stretches the tricep, all 3 chests of the tricep automatically.
Give me one for back. What? I
Chins.
know back. Chin-ups.
Chins. Chins to the front.
Yep.
Chins to the back. Chins to the front. Chins to the back.
Wow.
The next one for the back would be T-row bar.
One for abs.
Abs. Hanging leg raises.
Hanging leg
line
raises.
raises.
I love those.
Those are the 2 exercises where it affects the whole area. You understand? On benches, the ab machine, hanging leg raises.
Yeah.
That just creates that whole V taper.
Totally. And it stretches the tissue so you get more separation.
Exactly. So it would be my choice.
Okay, we go to legs now. Quads.
Oh, definitely leg or squats.
Squats.
You got squats work the whole body.
Yeah.
You got to get that squat in there. Leg presses, it's a day you'd want to have a break.
Yeah.
Get that lower back a break.
If you want to train legs, squat.
Squats.
Okay, hamstring.
Definite lines on the front, on your stomach, and stiff leg deadlifts. With your leg, with your body in an odd position where you're kind of leaning back.
Oh, yeah.
With again, upper back arch, all the pressures on the hamstrings. Yeah.
Calves.
Donkeys.
Donkeys.
Anybody sit on your back and you're doing 5 sets of 20s. Because see, that's all we did. Very seldom would you see a bodybuilder back in the old days using the seated calf machine or the standing calf machine.
Sure.
It's just donkeys. You got all get on your back for 20 reps.
Wow.
All of Franco and all will get on your back for 20 reps. And you got to get 20 reps.
Yep.
That heavy weight that the body's on your bike, hey, it's nothing like it.
All right, so that's training. Let's go to sleep and recovery. So, I mean, we talked about recovery using the ball. Anything else that you do for recovery? Like, do you take massages, chiropractic?
You know, one of the things that I've practiced throughout my whole career was fascia therapy.
Fascia therapy.
Dean Murray, I used to go to him at least once or twice a week. What he would do is in my documentary. You'll see it in the documentary.
Okay.
Dean Murray was the person that would kind of go into the joints, loosen all that tissue up. Basically, when you get through working out, the shoulders are like this.
Yes.
When Dean get through they're flat. So fascia therapy, definitely get massages. Fascia therapy and massage is probably one of the best things you could do to help stimulate muscle growth and release of all the fascia. If the fascia is tired up, you're not going to be able to build any muscle.
Totally.
So if the fascia is relaxed, then you're able to build more muscle.
And everything flows better. There's better circulation. The nutrition gets to where it needs to get. We grow when we rest, not when we train. So sleep.
You got to get
how many
7.
hours? 7?
You should have at least a good 7.
Wow.
7.5 little naps along the way. That plays a role in it because that's what I do a lot of. You know, get through training, eat my food, boom, I fall out for a couple hours. and the next day I do the same thing. I constantly try to get at least 7.
Yeah, but you're not sleeping. You're growing.
Oh yeah, you're sleeping. The body can't build muscle when you're training. It's breaking the tissue down. It's breaking down. So if you don't get enough rest, it's different amount of.
Robby, I tell all my clients I have 100% success rate with weight loss when I train my clients. They never gain weight when I train them because you cannot gain weight when you're training.
It's not possible.
They gain the weight in the other 23 hours.
They want to gain weight, but you can't.
Yeah, it's when you eat. That's when you gain weight. In the gym, when you're training, you're losing weight.
Yeah.
Okay, supplementation. You're one of the guys that inspired me to constantly drinking my EAAs and BCAAs and my glutamine over here. And I keep sipping throughout the day. This is my 3rd liter. I got another one after this. And then also when I train, I also make sure I have creatine and I also have some beta-alanine. You're huge on supplementation. You're always like nourishing the body. So you're not just hydrating, you're actually feeding. You keep drinking constantly. You have the aminos, right? Mm-hmm. You got the glutamine, creatine, beta-alanine. I'm missing a couple. I think you also mentioned the arginine.
My whole supplement regime consists of glutamine.
Glutamine.
The first thing in the morning I put in my first drink 5 scoops of glutamine.
Wow.
Okay. Then I go from 1 scoop of creatine. Okay. 1 scoop of L-citrulline, because you're talking testosterone building. The creatine, you're talking muscle building, strength. The glutamine helps your body recover from the workout. Arginine is for the heart. It strengthens the heart. Vitamin C. I put a scoop of vitamin C in there. I put B vitamins in there.
B vitamins. I think, wasn't it also, you got the B vitamins through intravenously with the IV?
Yeah. What I do occasionally is I say I will go to Dr. Rand and I get the same supplements intravenous.
Yes.
All those same glutamine, creatine, amino acids.
Yes.
I get all of that in a solution.
So is that the absorption rate is way better when you get it with an IV?
Oh yeah, it goes right into the bloodstream. You automatically fills the body back out because the body is low because you're working out, and it helps the body recover.
Yeah.
One of the main ingredients that he put in it takes about 30 minutes, and that is glutathione.
Glutathione. Yeah.
The glutathione helps regenerate the body. It's almost like anti-aging. You don't age as fast. If you take it at night, you sleep like a baby.
You know, I did it once, and I did notice a huge difference.
Yeah.
I need to do it more often.
Yeah. I mean, if you do it, you'll notice a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. You sleep like a baby when you do glutathione before you go to sleep.
Definitely because your body.
3 hours after your last meal.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours after your last meal. Take a glutathione. That's what I do every night before I go to bed.
When we trained, you had this little oxygen tank with you. And I know you also do the hyperbaric chamber a few times a week. I mean, you're huge on oxygen.
I've been using this for like years, you know.
Wow.
And I used to put it out, and people will say, oh man, you'll hear people make comments like, I mean, I guess he must be getting old, he's not getting enough oxygen or something like that. But I've been using this even back in the 70s, but I didn't take it to the gym. So what it does is help keep the oxygen level up in the bloodstream. So that, again, you're talking building muscle and burning fat.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this is why, I mean, all of these things, you're so optimized that at 78, you look the way you look. Like, there is so much more to it. And these are all like, you can call them the secrets, but they're not really secrets. It's just
There's no secrets.
Everybody knows about it, but nobody's doing it. But you are doing them every
single day. I do this every single day. I take this to the gym and I'll get oxygen. I get through several lunges. I do up and down.
Yeah.
Up and down. I'll get me a hit of oxygen or two, right? I'll get me, again, feeding my body with amino acids and all the nutrients I have in the jaw. I'll do that throughout my workout. When I get through, I will probably have about that much.
Yeah.
I go back and fill that bottle back up and I do it again. Okay? The only thing I add is glutamine because I need to recover. A little vitamin C, glutamine, a little L-citrulline, something like that to keep your overall anabolic level up in your bloodstream.
So this is pretty much Robby's blueprint, and everybody will be able to see way more about your blueprint into the documentary that's coming out soon, correct?
Exactly. What I see out there today is no disrespect to all the guys that are pushing, on Instagram and all this stuff about do this, do that, or that don't work or this don't work. I'm telling you, it worked.
Yeah.
The our Blue 6-step program worked.
Yeah.
And I've seen results. Just me seeing you, the little changes that you've made.
Yes.
The changes you've made. I see a complete difference in your physique. When you saw you with Vince, I said, geez. I said, my man's face got a good peak as Vince.
Yeah, we peaking. No.
Yeah, you're peaking it. That's great. But
Well,
it's just you're making changes.
Yeah,
You know, if you
that's
don't
all
make the
it is,
changes,
man.
you can't expect the results.
You know what? I mean, I got to give some credit to you, absolutely, for better peaks to my bicep. And I went to Vince just to train arms. I wanted to get my peaks with Vince. And guess what Vince said?
I can
Vince
see that.
said, you inspired him. And you inspired him, like millions of people, thanks to just being who you are. And I mean, we'll release my training with Vince very soon, and you'll see what he said. But basically, he said he sent you a letter, and you replied, and he was mind blown that you actually replied. You were like his inspiration, and that encouraged him to become the bodybuilder who he is. He's another 5 times Masters Mr. Olympia.
Hey.
And he credits you for his peaks.
Yeah.
I'm flipping through the bodybuilding, Dan Laurie magazines and stuff like that. Wow. And here's Robby. Okay, the Black Prince.
Yes.
I ain't touched the weight. I don't know about bodybuilding, right? I'm like, oh my God, I want to look like this guy. He's great. This is crazy, right? So I found myself writing Robby a letter.
Oh, no way.
Writing Robby a letter, bro.
Wow.
I'm going like, and he wrote back. I was like, gone.
Wow.
Gone. When he sent me that letter, he sent me a black and white picture. I was so excited. A handwritten letter. Penmanship was out of this world. I remember my mom saying, this letter is beautifully written. I'm sitting on the front porch of my house reading it over and over again, right? Robby Robinson, Black Prince. I'm just looking at everybody, Dave Drapers and all these people, right? And then all of a sudden you watch time evolve itself and boom. Not only did I take his advice and train the big muscle groups first. Yeah. You know, train like this, train like that. That was my diet. That's my diet. I'm going to train like Robby, right? And then, of course, my whole thing was those freaking arms.
Yes.
And now, so speed forward. Yeah. I started training like that, man. Dude, I started training like that. Next thing I know, here it is 2000 and blah, blah, blah. Dude, I'm on stage with Robby. Yeah. I got 21-inch arms like Robby. Wow. I mean, I'm a carbon copy of what he told me to do. I did it. The shit worked great. We was on stage together for the Masters.
Yes.
I mean, the whole 9, man. It's like history.
Totally.
Man.
It's like Robby. You hit it from one Mr. Olympia to another. Mr. Olympia, Masters to the other Master.
This was, you know, when I first saw his physique, I said, whoa. He got the small joints, big muscle belly, and why wouldn't I not do that? I mean, I would do that for you could be green.
Yeah.
I would still say, hey, if you got the potential, go for it.
Yeah.
And I encouraged him, and I told him that you can do it. You know, do all the little pieces and parts that you need to do it. He became Mr. Master Olympia 5 times.
Yeah, and it just speaks volumes to your persona. You're a generous person. You like to give, and I totally appreciate that. 2 more people I'm gonna give example as that you inspired, and it's just as anybody. 1, Lee Haney. He credits you. The only poster that his mom let him have in his room was your poster. And when he first met you, I watched your podcast with him. He said that he had $1 in his pocket and you signed the $1 with your autograph. He said that's the only autograph he ever gotten since. So that's 8 times Mr. Olympia. And then I also watched the one with Dorian Yates. And Dorian said when he was, I think, 14 or something, or 16, he was doing karate. So he went to the magazine stand and he saw your cover. And he picked it up, he bought it, and that inspired him. So right here, we're talking 8 times Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney, 6 times
Mr. Olympia.
Yates, and even 5 times Vince Taylor. That's 20 plus Mr. Olympias that you have inspired. So you've given back so much.
You know, it's important to be able to give back to people that you can definitely look at and see that they have that potential to achieve their goal. Why not inspire them? That's what we all should be doing, inspiring each other. I mean, if you look at animals, when I sometimes go on Instagram and I see animals saving other animals. I mean, that's what humans should be doing, saving each other.
Yes.
But for some reason, we just kind of detoured. And I don't know, not talking down about we as human beings become selfish.
Yes.
And to me, that's I think that just put a pain in humanity, really.
Yeah.
You know, I love helping people, seeing others grow, improve on what they're trying to get done. It empowers you too.
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
Robby, you're a gift, and thank you for sharing all the knowledge with everybody.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I got a couple more questions, and then
Sure, go for it.
So this will be rapid, like simple answer. Or I don't know if they'll be simple, but what's the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
The most what?
Important lesson that you've learned.
That I've learned?
Yes.
Challenges, so. Be unafraid to, if you make mistakes, you make them, but don't let them become totally you out. And I think that's what a lot of humans do. They go through a bad time and they think that's the last of best that they can do, and some people take themselves out. To me, I think take yourself out by challenging yourself. Take yourself out by saying, I'm going to be better than that. I can do better than that. You know, I was talking to a lady friend of mine, and she came to me and said, can you do better than that? So I got this T-shirt I'm coming out with. You can do better than that. And that's what I always think about myself. You know, if you get into a down or something bad happen in your life, that's just that moment.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to let that moment create the end of your life. You should let that moment challenge myself. Get up and do better. Make changes.
Yes.
Be unafraid to. I have this thing that I've been writing. It says, stay positive, work hard, make it happen. And see, a lot of people refuse to look at it that way. Greatness is a choice.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to be perfect, but if it's a choice.
Even the challenge is a choice. You choose to embrace the challenge.
Oh, yeah. Motivation can start things off, but it takes enthusiasm and the ability to make yourself better, to overcome anything that has become a negative in your life. I just believe in making myself better.
I love it.
Inspire others, motivate others to become better.
Yes.
That's one of my thoughts. If I can help you become better, that makes me better. That's how I see it.
You know what? My next question was going to be, how do you want to be remembered? And I feel like that you just answered my question, which is inspire others. I mean, I'll ask you, how do you want people to remember you, Robby? How would you like people to remember you when you're 120?
I have never really thought about that, but I always think motivating other people, inspiring them to do better, inspiring them to challenge themselves.
Absolutely.
Look in the mirror and say, again, I can do better than that.
Yes.
Not let that one moment total you out or tell you that you can't do better. You can always do better. You just got to believe in yourself.
Totally.
And if you believe in yourself, anything is possible.
Yeah. Robby, do you have any regrets?
No, because if I have regrets, then I'm not going to be able to get better. So I don't have any regrets about things. Whatever has happened has happened. The most important thing is I just want to keep going on with the life that I have left.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm in a happy place. I'm happy about what I've accomplished. You know, I always want to accomplish more. You just always want to do better.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
And talking about accomplishing more, there is more good things coming. Actually, there is a big seminar coming up this month in Italy in March, 24th of March in Naples, Italy.
I'm all excited about it. I'm in an awesome shape.
You've been preparing for this seminar like it's a competition.
Yeah.
You're in your peak shape almost, and you're
I'm
going to
already
peak
in
for
peak
it.
shape. And coming up in probably another week, I'll peak myself out. We'll get great pictures, ship them all the way back to Italy, and all the fans on Facebook and Instagram.
Wow. We're going to post also the information about this seminar in Italy. If whoever wants to go and see Robby live in his amazing shape, you definitely should check it out. This is a lifetime opportunity for you to go and check it out. And also, I mean, I've gone through all the material you're putting out. Like, I've been through your books. I've been through, big shout out to also to your DVDs. All of these, I have to, because I love them. Check out the masterclass, and there's also the build. If you want to learn, get the DVDs. We'll post the links where to get them on Robby's website. What else, Robby? You got the Generation Iron documentary coming out, so big things coming, great things coming. It's going to be a great year.
I'm all excited.
Man, I'm super excited, and I've enjoyed every second
Definitely appreciate it.
of this talk. I consider you a huge inspiration. I consider you a mentor, and I consider you most of all a friend. I just want to thank you again, and
appreciate the space.
My pleasure, and maybe I'll see you in Italy, huh?
Oh, definitely.
Huh? Let's do it.
You never know.
You never know.
All right.
Love it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.